Hey y'all, welcome to the first of the System 63 Beta 3 builders videos. In this video we're going to build a nice fat Moog type sound. We're going to use the new 360 Classic Oscillator to do this, and a lot of the other just straight up things from System 63. So let's start off, create a new ensemble, and make that not visible. Now we're going to go in here and get rid of the two ins that it puts in every new ensemble. We're going to move the outs over. Now the first thing we need in here is a clock, so we'll come down to here to the System 63 beta area and we'll grab the number 100 clock. A lot of work been done on the clocking system. Now we need a MIDI in, so we'll come down here to MIDI. If you notice, everything from MIDI has been taken out for this beta except for the 5001 MIDI in. More on that on the dev channel. Now the MIDI in, we're going to take the CC connector and connect it to the clock. Basically all this does is sends a gate to the clock to turn the clock on and off. Pretty simple way of looking at it. Everything in beta 3 is now all volt per octave, so you'll see this V/O out all over the place. Then we have a gate, mod wheel, aftertouch, velocity. Really the only things we're going to use on this patch is volt per octave and gate. So now we're going to drop in the next thing we need, which in a big Moog style patch, really got to have that slew limiter. Slew limiter basically provides the glide functionality that you hear, where it kind of slides from note to note. So volt per octave to in, because we're gliding the pitch. Now we're going to go in here and we're going to grab the brand new 360 Classic VCO. I've been working on this for about 5 months now, and it's finally complete. This is basically the oscillator driver and triple oscillator section from a Moog modular with some of my nice little fun inputs. So we're going to drag the out from the slew limiter to the volt per octave in on the oscillator. Let's go back in here and have a look. Yeah, this is getting all... We'll drag this down. We'll put this down here with here because I know I'm going to need the space. So we have the clock, the MIDI in, the slew limiter, and the oscillator. Now let's close this. So the next thing we need is going to be an envelope. We're just going to use the standard ADSR envelope, which is under the 400 series. It's the 403 ADSR. And of course you see the G here. That connects to the gate from the MIDI in. Now, given that this oscillator, the new 360 Classic, has wave outputs for all 4 wave types for each of the 3 oscillators in the pairing, we need some sort of mixer. Well, we're going to choose the most complex of the mixers so I can kind of show you what that's like using it. So we're going to come down to mixing and we're going to choose the 1001 Mixer 12. Now, for this particular patch, I'm going to use the saw and pulse off of each oscillator. So I'm going to take the saw and the pulse, and the saw, and the pulse, and the saw, and the pulse. Now that takes up the first 6 inputs on this mixer. I want to come back over here and show you this mixer. Let's get some of this moved around here. So this mixer has these little buttons on it. These are basically stops. So when it's red, the mixing channel stops there. So we need 6. So we shut off the first 5 stops. Now this means everything from channels 1 through 6 mixes together and goes out the 6th output here. This allows the mixer 12 to be many mixers all in one, which makes it very convenient to use in a modular type setup. Not a lot of wasted space. In this case it's kind of wasted, but so now we'll go in here and we need a filter. So we're going to use the classic ladder filter because we're doing a Moog style patch. So we come down here to filters and we grab the 503 ladder. We take the envelope output, plug it into here. Now we take the number 6 output, which is where our stop is, and we plug that into the audio input. And we'll get to the modulation and CV here in a minute, but first off we need a VCA, which is a voltage controlled amplifier. So the VCAs are in the mixing section, the 1000 section, and what we're going to use is the 1050 VCA. It's very Moog-like. It requires gate signal, so we take that from our MIDI in, and an audio signal. And this output's a single audio output. So we'll wire that up. Now we have our ladder filter and our VCA. So now let's give some volume to the different pulse and saw waves. And now let's come down here to the oscillator. We're going to take the first section and make it a 16-foot range, 16-foot range on the second section, and an 8-foot range on the last section. And then we're going to detune these two a little bit here to give that nice fat Moog sound. Basically, we're not going to do anything with the FM. This oscillator has both linear and exponential FM, just like the original Moog. We have pulse width, and what I'm going to do with the pulse width here is an old modular trick. We're going to come in and we're going to take the envelope output that we're using and we're going to drag that into the first pulse width modulation. So now I'm going to take this pulse width modulation and I'm going to turn it up to about there. So basically, as that envelope fires, it's going to modulate the pulse width, which can't go above or below where it should. So also on this, we've got frequency. We're going to leave that alone, but if you flip this switch, this does become an octave setting as well, just like on the original Moogs. So let's see what we have right now for sound. Not very loud, so let's turn up the output. You'll have to forgive me, I'm playing on my keyboard, or on the keyboard on my laptop, so not very good sound. So let's make some adjustments here to our filter envelope. release that long, so. And let's turn down our sustain on the VCA. Okay. Now, we have a basic patch running here, and let's turn the slew limiter up more. Okay. Now, we need a little bit of fun in here. Let's go back into our patching window. And let's drop in an LFO. Well, the LFO that I designed a long time ago under the CV section, designed after the Moog LFOs, is the 210. It just requires a reset cable from the clock, and then we'll take the sine wave output and we'll plug that into the first CV input on the filter. So now we have that turned up already a little bit. That's going to be too fast, so we'll slow down the frequency. Turn up the effect a bit. Now the effect is too much. Turn that back down. Now let's grab this frequency knob here and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7. Or another good one is a 5th. So now also on the MIDI in, you can choose between a mono or a legato gate. When I'm building, I usually just use a mono gate. So, we've got some really cool stuff happening here. Now, we need a couple of little blank panels up here. Yeah, I added blank panels for this one. And they're under the utilities. They don't have a number, just choose blank. Then you have a blank which will take up the space that it should. So we will duplicate. And there we have it. There is a simple, really fat Moog style sound. I bet you I just screwed this whole thing up because I wasn't wearing headphones. Well, we'll see. Anyway, that's the first video for Beta 3. Hope you guys enjoy the beta, and make sure to keep those bug reports coming in. Thanks much, guys. See you later.